Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our every Tuesday of the month, Pro 3s and above training call with our Executive Master, Blue Elam. Thank you for your time as we present this opportunity to you to extend the training to all of the emerging leaders in the Philippines market, along with the US market that we are building. We'd like to thank you all for jumping on, and we'd like to congratulate you for a wonderful, wonderful month of August. Well, before anything else, Blue, I would like that we have to congratulate a bunch of individuals right now. Guys, wow, wow, wow. Greg and I couldn't be so proud of you. And of course, Blue would be so excited to learn that we have just last August, big shout to Elmi Magsalos, Pro 5, our newest Pro 5. Annalyn Luyon, our newest Pro 5. We have two Pro 5s for the month of August. And then Judah Jorda, Pro 4. Congratulations, Judah. I know you're there. Leticia Apawan and Henry Apawan. Leticia and Henry, Pro 4. And Melchor Dorado, Pro 4. I believe Leticia, Melchor is Pacifico Timbas, Kier Timbas team, who is also a Pro 4, our new Pro 4. So we have 4 Pro 4s. And we have John Apawi, our new Pro 3, Vilma Azarce, Pro 3, Anacleto Balhon, Pro 3, Glossy Capuyan, Pro 3, Hailani, congratulations, and Hailani and Boy Gavino, Pro 3, Mark Toreda, hi, Hailani, I see you waving, Pro 3, congratulations, and let's not forget Lloyd Alianes, our new Pro 2, Glenn Herson Bobis, our new Pro 2, Glenn Capuyan, Pro 2, our Lenny Dawson, Pro 2, and we have Pro 1s.
Okay, well, thank you guys for sharing, and I'll slowly get the names and faces. It's a little hard on Zoom. I admit it's not my style. If I could give hugs and handshakes and be in your living room, and the joke when I went to Australia was I stayed with a family, and they kicked one of their kids out of the bunk bed so I could sleep on the bottom bunk with the one in one of the bedrooms. And in the middle of the night, the little boy up top threw a pillow and hit me, and then I threw it back, and the parents had to come in and ask us to be quiet because we were having a pillow fight at midnight in the bedroom. And that story always stuck, that one of the top leaders was having a pillow fight with their kids, and very, very different compared to what they were used to, because we feel more like family, and we treat it that way. And so on a Zoom, to me, this becomes a little more official and maybe a little more, I don't know, business-like, which is good. And you guys are very professional, and I try to be. But my background, you guys, is a firefighter. My job was to kick doors and run into buildings and find people that were hurt and get them out safely and protect them, and risk my life to do so, right? And so I didn't mind putting time and effort into something. I didn't mind working hard. I didn't mind sacrificing. But I wanted to know it was for a good cause. It's very hard. And all of you, if you can leave your camera on, let me, if you're in a position to leave it on, turn it on. If not, I understand. But if you can have your cameras on, at least I can maybe learn your face and see a little more. But if you would agree, it is hard to leave our families at home to go put time into something unless it's worthwhile. Would you agree that it's hard to find that balance? Because I believed in leaving my family to go fight fires was doing something important. I didn't make a lot of money, but I felt good doing it. To leave my family to go build a LifeVantage business took a lot of sacrifice. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story, but if you listen real close, you're going to hear a lot of training in the story, because a lot of you I haven't met. I want to get to know you a little bit more, but I think in my story, you can feel my passion and understand who I am as a person. And then maybe you might respect the training more, or when I get to go to Philippines and meet you and your teams, then you'll know a little bit more about some of the leaders that you get to work with. I hope you get a chance to meet some of our corporate leaders who have lots of experience in history and integrity, running businesses and keeping the side of the business that I don't want to worry about. They keep that going very well. They send paychecks, they make our products, they ship our products. and they can work out things to help. And I know in the Philippines, they're working hard for a couple specific things as well. Same, some of the things we had in the States, in the United States, we just had time to overcome them and fix them. And now we're doing well. And then with the new startup in the Philippines, we're doing the same thing. But I'm very confident in the staff that we have put together at the corporate offices, right, that we have put together. But I can tell you guys, my job as a firefighter isn't to show up to your house when you're having a good day, right? My job was to show up when grandma had a heart attack, or my kid is choking, or I can't breathe, or I'm in an accident, or I fell, or something bad, right? Knives and guns and gangs and drugs. And that's what we got to fix, try to fix. We'd show up and try to help and serve and give. And many times we were right in the middle of some pretty crazy situations. And there was a month of my life where I almost didn't make it home a few times. And because of accidents or buildings that collapsed, or accidents on freeways where I was in the middle, almost getting hit by cars. And I remember coming home to my wife and I said, if I don't come home, are we okay? We have 4 girls and 2 boys. We have a bunch of kids. They were all very little. My oldest was 7 and my youngest was barely born. And when I came home to ask my wife if we would be okay if something happened, it was a very difficult conversation, because we were not in a position to take care of them if I wasn't there. And I realized that the type of job that I had chose was honorable, but it didn't do a lot for my family if something was to happen. And it was very likely in that situation and in that field for something to happen. And so we said a little prayer. We decided to look for something, and we were introduced to network marketing with about 3 days later, we got to see this industry. And I've been here ever since. A part of me has had my heart wrapped around the idea that I could help thousands and tens and hundreds of thousands of people with their health. I could help them with their finances and be home with their children more. But I had to find people willing to sacrifice, right? That's the part we miss out sometimes, is we tell people how good it is, but we don't always tell people that there's a certain type of person that does really, really well here. They have to be giving. They have to have integrity. They have to do what they say they're going to do, right? When they say, I'll be there, they show up, right? When they say, I did some research, they did the research. If they say, this is what's going on, they're trustworthy, they're loyal, right? They're helpful. They're people that we can get behind and support. They're leaders. But good thing about leaders, I want to talk a little bit about leaders tonight. Leaders is, the idea of a leader is simply someone who has followers, right? There are bad leaders in the world, right? We've all seen leaders that have got a following of people that have not, in my opinion, earned right? the honor of a leader. And on the other end, there's people that have groups of people following them that have put so much time and effort into becoming someone to be followed. And that's what I appreciate with the time you guys have put into this. There's some experienced people on this call, and I want to thank you and appreciate you. And you add to my inspiration by hearing your confidence in our company, by evaluating those things, right, that Anna had mentioned: the company, the timing, the trends, our integrity, our corporation. Those things we all have evaluated, and we all ended up here. I will say, though, if you're not an experienced network marketer, like, we may talk a little different to the experienced network marketers because there's a lingo that we might have figured out. But I can tell you that our company has prided themselves in brand new people being able to be successful, brand new people that have never heard of this industry, showing up, locking arms with those who have done well, and being very successful. Because I was one of them. I had been involved with a very few other companies as customers. I did a one other as a business and learned the industry, and then I came here. So I was not very experienced, but I found that when I put hard work and effort here, it paid off, and it turned into long-term growth and perspective. So what we did our very first couple of weeks, you guys, is I went home to my wife. I told her we found the company we're looking for. After we had thought and looked at this industry, we looked at 15 companies. We came home and said, I found it. We went to work, And in 90 days, we found 25 people that we wanted to work with. Okay. Now, I suggest some form of that. If you're doing this business, there should be some form of an all-out massive action to enroll and launch your business. Okay. You guys all heard about the idea of when they put stuff into orbit, right? They have to put so much energy and effort pushing and pushing and pushing through the atmosphere and pushing against gravity and pushing up once it gets up there, tiny little corrections can go a long ways. But at the first, it takes effort and energy and what I want to call all out massive action, right? We make a lot of mistakes during that time. If we've been through this process before, we might make a few less mistakes, but that's okay. We make the mistakes, we get corrections, we get mentorship from our leaders, and we go to work and we put people in front of this with just a focus, right? The fun part about the beginning is we only need to invite and enroll. That's our job at the beginning. We invite somebody, show them and enroll them. We invite and enroll. We invite and enroll. We find a team of people. Once we have a team, then things have to change because we now have to be a mentor to the team. We can't simply keep enrolling and enrolling and enrolling and forget about the team. So there's a balance that takes place. It does. You'll never hear me say we stop enrolling, but you will hear me say that one foot has to be in the enrollment phase and another foot will have to be in a mentoring phase, or you will lose the people that you brought in. And so it's very important to take care of your team when you bring them here. We will all help you to do that. Calls like this are designed to help take care of the people who you have brought, and they have shown their leaders, and they're here on the call, okay? Now, there are phases of business, and I think to start, we need to learn how and launch our way to Pro 3. That's why we talk about Pro 3, $5,000 in volume or points. To hit that point system, we have to just enroll and invite, look at the information, put them in front of the information, get on the Zoom, come to the corporate office, get on the meeting, right? Kai's been doing presentations all over. You guys have on Zooms and everything, but put them in front of the information and they see it, yes or no, and they're in or out, and they join it or not. And we run with those that say yes. Some will say, I just want the products because they're incredible. Some of those will come around later because our products are amazing. We eventually will show you how to talk a little bit about the products. We hope not to make you think you have to be a doctor to understand the products at such a high level in order to do the business. We purposely keep it so simple that people realize that they can do it without knowing a lot. But if somebody needs to know a lot, we also want you to know it's there. We have so much information and proof and validation about our products. As a paramedic, my mistake was I learned all of that and it was in my head. And sometimes my meetings would turn into, long, okay, which means we have to get there. If it's a range, if it's a 30-minute range, I would say 30 minutes is pushing it. I've had some 45-minute meetings. I've had some maybe an hour with all the conversations, but most of them are about 30 minutes, and they can be very effective to get the information out. Then we stop the meeting, and then we have all the other meetings after the meeting, and those are fun. We hang out, we talk, we can get into details, we can show people on a napkin how the comp plan works or how the products work. But to get the information out, we need to make sure we get there, we start on time, we present specifically what we're trying to get to them, and then we get out, stop the meeting, and then we answer questions, and we have the meeting after the meeting, right? If you will learn to do that, I believe you can invite your way to Pro 3, but I believe you need to teach and present your way to Pro 5. I believe you have to learn the presentation to get to 4 and 5, to get enough exposures on your team. It's hard to rely on others to expose enough people on your team to get yourself to 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, right? I believe it takes you becoming the leader in order to do that. So you go to the presentations and bring people to get to 3. Somewhere around Pro 3, we pick up the marker, so to speak, right? And we get up there and we do the presentation, and we're confident enough after listening that many times to share the information. Now, here's how simple I think our meeting should be, right? We should tell our story. We should tell the company's story. we should teach them how to make money. And I think the company story kind of includes that a little bit with comp plan. But if we tell our story and the company story and tell them how to make some money, the company story includes products. How to make money includes a lot of solutions to all the problems we're having in most cases. Our products will have some solutions and help for the health issues and things we're having. So you put all that together, and I think we have a simple way to look at it. Now, 4 things I think we should answer in a presentation. Okay, this is going to sound so simple, but I have a feeling if you'll just keep it this simple, you'll find yourself presenting and enrolling in a lot faster by people not thinking they have to be a CPA and know everything about comp plan and money and numbers, or they don't think they have to be a scientist or a doctor, but they just need to know these 4 things. Number 1, does the product work? Simple conversations can help people know that it works. A simple example of your life, right? Be careful to share too specific of examples, because I had somebody who had a certain process and he was shaking all the time and it went away. And he told that story so much that he had a list of 45 people that said, if I ever have that same problem, I'll call you and I'll join your business. They were waiting for the problem because they knew it fixed him or helped him, but they were so specific in what they shared, they didn't understand that oxidative stress is so universal that it's for everybody. So we need to learn to teach to the masses to make sure everyone understands that they have a home. So number 1, does the product work? Number 2, can it work for them? Right? If we can answer those 2 questions, then they will be a customer. In my opinion, they will say, I want the product because I know it works. I know it will work for me, and so I want some, right? Business is the same way. Does the business work? 3rd question, does the business work? If you can show them through examples and excitement and our income statement forms, right? And people in your team hitting Pro 5 and all these things happening, they will know it works. But sometimes we don't do a good job at teaching them that it can work for them. We just say it works. Look at me, it worked. Look at me. We need to show them that it could work for them. If we can answer those 2 questions, then we have a distributor looking at being a distributor on our team. So 4 questions. Does a product work? Does it work for them? Yes and yes. I'll be a customer. Does the business work? Yes. Right? And that's a lot of things. We have to talk about all the pieces of it and be a publicly traded and all the things. And does it work for me? Can that business work for me? Do I have enough friends? Do I have enough mentorship? Do I have enough support? Do I have the help? Teach those things in your presentation so that we can answer those 4 questions. When we answer those 4 questions, we will find people faster by keeping it to those 4 questions. 30 minutes, we start on time, we show them what we're doing, we get through the presentation, and we get on with the next thing, right? What we don't want is to tell people that my house or corporate office at 7, we're going to have a meeting until 7:30, and we're going to talk, we'll be out of there at 8. And we have somebody show up at 8, right? It makes it so hard to stop and restart, because if we're already talking about company and timings and trends and products and conversation and system, and we're almost to the end and somebody new shows up, and then we have to start over and tell them about the company and the products and the trends, conversation and system, because we don't want them to miss out. And then somebody else shows up, and then pretty soon it's not concise, it's not professional, and we're missing what LifeVantage's culture has created over time. So think about that and apply some of those things as a leader, okay? Now, I think we invite our way to Pro 3, we teach our way to Pro 5, and we have a couple Pro 5s on here, and I'm gonna ask that we mentor our way to Pro 7. We don't stop inviting, we don't stop teaching, but we add mentorship, okay? I don't think we need a lot of mentorship as a brand new distributor trying to find our first 5 people. We just need to invite them and show them, right? But when we have a team of people and we have 20,000 points in volume in our group, we're Pro 5, or maybe even 30 or 40,000, we're Pro 6s and 50. We have to think a little different. We need to have a conversation about what are your people needing right now? What are they doing to present? What are they doing to invite? How many people on your team are doing their own presentations? What a powerful question if you really hear that. How many people on your team are inviting? How many people on your team are doing presentations when you're not there? I had somebody hit Pro 5 in less than 30 days, right, in our business. He's a Pro 10 now. You may all know him. His name's Gabe Pearson. He's an amazing, amazing teacher. The guy came up to me and said, "Hey, Blue," he said, "man, you've been Pro 10 a while. I respect you, very, very honorable, very respectful. Even though I looked up to him, he worked out, he owned a gym, and he was just very, very, very confident, right? He knew the products, he knew the presentation, and he invited and taught people so clearly that he hit those two things and hit Pro 5 very quickly in 1 month. And then guess what? And he's got stuck there for 8 months over and over and over. And he came to me and said, "What am I doing wrong? Because like I'm staying right here." And I asked one question. I said, "How many people on your team are doing what you're doing? How many people on your team are doing the same presentation when you're not there?" He kind of laughed. He said, "Well, he thought I was questioning the quality of his presentation." He said, "What do you mean? My presentations are awesome." He was trying to tell me how good he does. And I was saying, no, it has nothing to do with how good your presentation's on. It has to do with your span of control. You can only do so many presentations for so many people. Even if you did one every single day and did 30 presentations a month, that's only going to touch, even if there's 5 or 10 guests at every presentation, it still limits your exposure rate. But what if, I told him, what if you have 10 people that you have trained and taught and mentored to do the same presentation you're doing 15, 20, 30 times a month? What if you had 10 people? That's 300 more presentations, or at least 150 if they're doing 15 presentations. That is how you go from 5 to 6 to 7, I told him. That is not necessarily you staying awake longer and waking up earlier, because he actually put himself in the hospital twice, I believe, because he was trying to do it all on his own shoulders, and he wasn't mentoring others. He wasn't passing down knowledge and information. He was holding on to it. And what happened was he learned to do that. He enrolled a few more people. He passed down knowledge. He did presentations with people, not for them only. He actually brought with them. And it was months later, went all the way to Pro 8, Pro 9, and Pro 10 by changing a very simple thought process of just inviting or just presenting or just mentoring. We have to do all of those things. And so I believe on this call, the reason we focus on Pro 3s is to tell you that you already did some enrolling. If you're on this call, you've been doing some enrolling because you got invited to this call as a Pro 3. But I believe learning to present and learning to explain the information, if you're a little scared, that's okay. Get some 3x5 cards and take a little note. And it's okay to read off your notes if you have to phone a friend, get a friend to help if you need some help. But we are here to support you. But like one of my favorite quotes, right? We will help you build your business, right? And I don't know how that translates directly, but in English it's funny because it's, we will help you build your business. You hear that all the time. Oh, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'll help you. No, we will help, but you build your business, right? You go build, we'll be here to help you. So if you really understand that, our job as mentors is to help you learn to do the presentations, be inspired to do them, be confident to do them, have the skills to do them, right? Have the ability, because we don't want presentations that are incorrect. We don't want presentations that are 3 hours long and people get bored and they think they have to know all that information. We don't want presentations that are maybe make the wrong claims, right? Maybe they're illegal and they get people in trouble. We want to train people and to help you do a proper presentation with enough information, right? I think 30 seconds is an invitation. I think 30 minutes is a presentation, right? Sometimes we talk for 10 minutes and they think they got it all. We think we invited them, but we actually told them everything. We tried to. They didn't get quite enough to make it a good decision. But I think sometimes we fall into a dangerous window when we invite for 5 or 10 minutes. The person who didn't show up to the meeting after you do that thinks they already had a presentation. They think they already heard it all, so they're actually saying no, right? I'm not coming because I already heard it. I think our invitation should be quick and easy. I'll see you there. It's exciting. You don't want to miss it. Please come. What is it? It's going to take me 30 minutes. If I show you right now, we're going to be late. I'll see you tonight, whatever. Those 30 minutes are just getting them in the room, the 30 seconds, the 30 minutes, we go through the company, the timing, the trends, the product, compensation, the system, show them that we do what we say we're going to do. We show up when we said we're going to be there. We do the presentation like we said. We show them what we have, and we can make it very, very powerful. So think about the power of that, you guys, to do that. Now, if we will learn to mentor others, we become what I think Kai likes to call a Pro 3 factory, right? Because I know if we will learn to develop new Pro 3s and new Pro 3s and new Pro 3s, what we're actually doing is helping people invite their friends and enroll them, invite them friends and enroll them to get a group of people. Out of that group, we're going to find some leaders. Not all of them will be. Some will end up customers because they just love the products. Some love the products and thought they could do the business and they don't put enough time and they end up customers anyways, right? But someone will say, hey, I get it. This is different. This is big. And they're going to rise to the top and become the 4s and the 5s. And then our Pro 5s are going to start mentoring more people and become the 6s and the 7s. And the process takes place. I have one quick thing I'd like to share. Close enough to relate, but just far enough ahead to inspire. I believe the reason some of you are on this phone and some of you say I've been around for 20 years and 25 years in the industry is because you've learned to take a very talented and a very complicated product or a very a comp plan that has a lot of numbers, and you've learned to relate to people. You've learned to tell stories at their level. You've learned to remember where you came from. You remember making the first phone call, how scary it was, so you can do a good job at relating to someone else who's scared to make the first phone call. Does that make sense? Good leaders they remember that. They remember to relate. They remember driving the old car. They remember not having the rank, not having the money, living in the simple places. I used to joke around about parking at the beach to use the shower at the beach, right? Because the free shower where you rinse off your feet from the sand. Because sometimes I was traveling and that's the only place I would shower to go to the next place. And so we joke around about that, but someone in the room always says, oh man, that's where I'm at right now, right? And they relate and all of a sudden they're part of it. But being able to do just far enough ahead to inspire and say, what would it be like, right, to make that change? What would it be like to pay all your bills on one day of the month and have 4 times the amount extra to give away and help people with? And what if, and what if, and what if, and inspire people financially, inspire people health-wise, inspire people as leaders. I believe that's part of what we do, and it's very important. I'm going to skip through a little bit of this, but this little part to me is what I wanted to focus on tonight. There's polished people that you guys see presenting. It's okay tonight. I'm going to talk to you. It's okay to break plates. It's okay to be on the second or third step, trying to juggle and falling and breaking. And the point is you're doing it because someday you're going to be on stage. The people are going to see you as a leader. And I'm going to ask you today, when you get there and you're making the kind of money where you can pay bills and your friends' bills and your parents' bills if you want, and put money aside for your kids and their kids and their kids, people see you a little different. But I'm going to caution you to not forget when you were on the first step breaking plates and when it was scary to present, when it was hard to present, and you were doing those things. Don't forget what it was like to struggle and to learn and to grow, right? I believe there's a lot of times we'll get on stage and I try not to ever forget that, because I used to see people on stage and think I'll never be able to do that. They're just too good or too good looking, or they have too much money, or they're too smart, right? They had too much school. I don't have that. I'm here, they are up there, and I can't make it. And there was a friend now got up on stage and he made some mistakes and he knocked over the board. He tripped on something. He said about 100 times and he was nervous. And I saw myself in him and I said, maybe I can do this. Maybe it's okay to not be perfect. But here's where he was perfect. He was there on time and he did his job and he worked hard. He wasn't necessarily polished and as a presenter, but his leadership skills were becoming polished, right? He did what he said he was going to do, and he did those things. And so I believe if we will take the things we can control, right? We can control certain things and make those things happen. We may not be able to control us getting nervous. We may not be able to control us forgetting something. We may not control our memorization or we can kind of control preparation. We can make notes and help prepare, but let's get together, lock arms, and turn this into something big. You guys, we're heading somewhere in your country that will be starting a platform that's amazing. That little list of some 5s and 4s is amazing, but those are going to be 8s and 9s and 10s, and you're going to have life-changing stories to tell. I was a firefighter. I hadn't done this before. We started running, and I can tell you when we started paying our bills and having extra, and I can tell you guys when our checks started, there was a few months when our check came in, and it was more than I would make in 2 full years as a firefighter. So in 1 month, when I got a check that was 2 years of my normal wages, I started thinking very differently, right? I started thinking about other ways to tell people and show my passion and, explain things better and shout from the rooftops. I got very, very urgent. Things became very, very right now, not tomorrow. Today, not tomorrow. And I believe for those that want to get to the next Pro 5 Summit and change your life and start to really think there's going to be an urgency around that kind of behavior. It's going to be an urgency around today, not tomorrow, right? Right now, not later, not later tonight. Invite so I can enroll. Once I have a team, I'm going to present for them and present so that they can have a team. And the only way to get to Pro 5 is go develop 5 Pro 3s in your organization, right? Different groups. Watch what happens. You'll hit Pro 5. How do you get to Pro 7? Right? I don't want to spend a ton of time because you guys are working on that, but all you got to do is go get 5 Pro 5s, right? Go teach five people to go from Pro 3 to Pro 5. And if they're in your organization in different groups, then you'll automatically be an elite. How do you get from an elite to a Pro 10? The same way. We just go develop enough elites in our organization and we hit Pro 10, right? The executive one is a whole nother step. We just go develop more Pro 10s and so on and so on. But we first ask you to learn. We'll make this our last little quote because I know time's up. We need to learn first. We learn by showing up with a friend at the presentation and we learn. Then we do the work. We learn and then we do the work. We present. We physically are able to do what we were watching someone else do. Now it's our turn. We do it. Then the third thing is, right, we learn, we do, and then we teach someone else to do it. We mentor. We learn our way, if you would, to Pro 3. We teach our way to Pro 5, and we mentor our way, in my opinion, to Pro 7. So think about that. It may soak in a little bit. If we need to have more conversation about it, we will. I know we had a little time introducing you guys. To me, that's important. So I know it takes a little bit away from training, and some of you guys know each other, so that might not be as fun. But for me, I get so much out of learning your faces and getting to meet you. We've been talking to Kai. My wife's super excited to come see you guys. We want to spend a few days working hard, and then we want to spend time play hard. That's our family motto. My last trip down there, we to go to El Nido in the resort, and I fell in love with anything I have to help your business. That doesn't do me any. If I can help you get from point A to point B faster, it only helps my family, your family, and it helps everyone. There's no reason we hold back. We give everything we can. We'll teach, we'll train, we'll mentor. We'll also play, we'll relax, we'll have fun with some of you guys as leaders. And so we'll put some stuff together and a little plan with Kai. I'm excited to come meet you guys. But for tonight, let's just think about that, you guys. What is it going to take? Next week, I'll talk about this. Next month. I'm going to talk about the difference between a leader and a follower. Okay? Because I believe it's okay to be a follower and follow somebody who's leading for a while. But eventually, if you want a big enough team to hit the top ranks of this company, we can follow our way so far, but eventually we have to turn around and see who's following us. To do that, we have to become a leader. And so next month, we'll talk specifically about what it takes to go from a follower to a leader, what different mindsets take place, follow your way for a while. Like this, it's not a bad thing to be in either one of those. Those that are good followers become good leaders, but
right.
We have to be able to transition. So we'll talk about that, you guys. I know time's short. I want to keep this concise. My little clock just popped up, my timer. So Kyle, I'll turn it back to you. thank you guys for opening your cameras and your faces and seeing you guys. And
Thank
the
you.
love and respect you have for me and my family are awesome. And we will
Thank you,
definitely
Blue.
come to you guys. So
Well,
thank
give
you.
Blue a heart or anything, guys. Give him a heart. Give him a thumbs up, please. Or drop a one, you
virtual
guys.
hug.
Drop a one in the comment section below. If you have learned so much, so many hearts. Drop a one, you guys. Let's give him some tender, loving care and for spending time, an hour of his time for us. Especially, it's actually a Labor Day, a long weekend today, and normally people here in the United States don't go to work, but Blue is with us tonight, so it's
Today's
amazing.
a big vacation day for us, but we got to play all morning. So today we didn't work hard and then play hard. Today we play hard and now we're working. So
Work hard.
we'll come see you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you, Blue. Thank you very much, you guys. And like I said again, congratulations to our rank advancement for the month of August. And you guys are amazing, and I can't wait. I wish I'm there with you tomorrow for the recognition.